Tell me, has having the priapisms had any impact on your sexual function? So erections when you wanted them?
Fortunately, it hasn't impacted my ability to have erections when I want them. It's been absolutely fine. I'm able to sort of, have erections when I need them, and maintain them as well during intercourse. So no problems on that front. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic, because it's interesting. People know about the problems that you can get with erections when you've had one of these fulminant priapisms, ones lasting more than 4 hours, which can cause damage to your penis.
Mm.
But there's also a lot of evidence that says if you get lots of these recurrent episodes, as you were getting, which last a couple of hours and on a regular basis, that can lead to trouble with erections over many years as well. So it is a recognized complication. I'm so glad that you haven't had that problem. But tell me, with all this problem with priapism, has it had an impact on relationships, just your interaction with your partners?
Yes, it definitely did. Because there's so many different sort of aspects. There's the communication aspect. How do you communicate this to your partner? Because it's not something you just you share just openly. It's a very personal thing. So you have to be secure. I had to feel secure in the relationship before I could even share that, and that would take quite a while. And then there's even having to sort of plan the times you have sex. If I had sex in the night, that was almost 99% guaranteed I'd have a priapism following intercourse. Or it would just take a longer time for the erection to resolve. So having to avoid sex at night has been a big issue. So yeah, it has definitely had a impact on relationships, and even some of my partners have had to see me waking up in the middle of the night. This is before oxygen, doing exercise, and they think you're crazy with what you're going through.
Did you feel as if you could share what your problem was with partners in the past, or is it something you would always keep to yourself and just say, it's just something I need to do?
No. So initially we, for example, my partners would have to make sure that we always went to our separate ways. Wouldn't really stay over at my partner's place, or her stay over at my place. It was always it's time to sort of go home, because I just didn't want to open that aspect of my life to them. So yeah, I would just keep it to myself, and it wasn't until I would say many years into a relationship before I could feel like the time was right to to say that this is what I was suffering.
So Andrew, do you think having those priapisms affected some of your relationships, or led to the breakdown of some of your relationships over the years?
I'd like to think it hasn't led to any breakdown in relationships, though they've always been sort of separate reasons. But it's made sort of starting relationships more difficult for me. Maintaining them hasn't been such a problem, but starting them has definitely been a big problem, because I have to think about, is this a sort of person I can allow into my life to show what exactly is going on? Will they even understand? So it's I would definitely say it's affected me on that front. Yeah.
There's so many things you have to think about in relationships generally in life. It's just a whole new angle, doesn't it?
And I guess the other thing as well is just not even thinking about just priapism itself, but the condition as a whole. If I want to start a family, I've had to consider this as a factor, that I don't want to pass this gene onto my offspring. So I've had to undertake a pre-implantation genetic diagnosis for my partner to have a baby. So there's different aspects that you have to think about across the board.
Yeah. So your partner has sickle cell trait as well?
So my partner has sickle cell trait. So that's why we had to go through that process, and we just didn't want to take any chances. Just having, reflecting back on how I've grown up and the sort of, situations I've been in, there is no way, I don't wish this on anyone. And so fortunately there's, science is available to prevent that. So I was, definitely one to go down this route. It's been a long road, but yeah.
I can imagine.